H&M, or Heinz and Maurice AB, is a multinational Swedish corporation that specializes in retail apparel. In the 2019 fiscal year, H&M reported global net sales of approximately $24.3 billion. They have over 5,000 stores worldwide and have over 126,000 employees. In 2020, H&M ranked number 7 in the most valuable apparel brand in the world. In regard to their sustainability report, H&M has reached the CDP's Climate A list for its efforts against climate change, while getting involved in numerous environmentally friendly initiatives to boost the company's sustainability performance. Although H&M has demonstrated outstanding returns over the last 4 quarters and has made substantial efforts to improve their sustainability rating, I think that the greatest ethical issue that H&M must address is their treatment of their workers and the environment. This issue involves both their presence in the fast fashion industry and their outsourcing of labor and production to foreign countries and sweatshops. Therefore, in this presentation, I will discuss the ethical problems that arise with these practices and discuss attainable solutions that H&M can work towards to improve the treatment of their workers and the environment. First is the problem of fast fashion. This industry directly violates the ethical principle of sustainability and conservation with its maltreatment of the environment. The fast fashion industry is the rapid production of cheap clothing that follows temporary styles or trends in society. This market has grown in popularity with the development of the online shopping market. The internet now makes purchasing clothing easier than ever, which facilitates mass overconsumption. One survey shows that the average person buys 60% more items of clothing than they did 15 years ago. That clothing is kept only half as long. H&M produces nearly 3 billion articles of clothing per year, which substantially adds to the problem of overconsumption. Some other negative impacts of fast fashion include its use of cheap, toxic textile dyes, which make the fashion industry the second largest polluter of clean water globally after agriculture. The fast fashion industry is the second largest polluter of clean water globally, which is because the speed at which these garments are produced means that more and more clothes are disposed of by consumers, creating a huge amount of textile waste. For example, in Australia, more than 500 million kilos of unwanted clothing end up in landfills every year. Fast fashion has led to the creation of the throwaway culture, where people discard of items before they have fully been used because the speed at which the trends are produced is unsustainable. According to one study, clothes are being worn an average of 7 times before they are thrown away. Thus, the fashion industry contributes to about 10% of global CO2 emissions in the world. H&M's contribution to this culture violates the principle of intergenerational justices because their actions threaten the sustainability of the environment and the lives of future generations. This is similar to the principle of sustainability, which guarantees that the earth is treated well enough that it can be continued to be lived on. With the rate at which clothing is being produced and thrown away, sustainability appears to be unattainable for the future. According to good ethical standards, we must place an intrinsic value on the environment so that violations of these would be ethically immoral, and companies such as H&M will be forced to change their production styles and manufacturing techniques so that there is little to no pollution and there is far less waste being produced because of this throwaway culture. A direct effect of the fashion industry is the use of sweatshops to outsource production to foreign countries where labor is far cheaper. Sweatshops are factories that violate various labor laws and are typically located in economically poor countries. H&M currently operates in 40 different countries, with Bangladesh, China, Cambodia, and India being the primary locations. At these sweatshops, working conditions are poor and child labor is often used, with workers making as little as $1 per day for 12 to 18-hour workdays. There have been over 8,000 reports of Cambodian workers collapsing on the job over a 6-year period. Hundreds of gender-based abuses have also been reported that have occurred in sweatshops. Conditions were so poor in one factory in Bangladesh that in 2013, the Rana Plaza factory collapsed, killing 1,138 workers. H&M has attempted to sign deals with various organizations such as the Fire and Building Safety Accord and the International Labor Organization, but little has been reportedly done to make improvements, and many of the factories still do not even have fire exit escapes in case of another building collapse. All of these issues amount to serious violations against the humane treatment of workers in the environment. One principle that the use of sweatshops violates is the respect for core human values. Donaldson, an ethical scholar, argues that people should be treated like the environment as ends and not just as tools to accomplish a goal or make a certain amount of money. Additionally, he claims that companies must respect people's basic rights no matter what country they are in, and that respect for human dignity and safety is of the utmost importance. The use of sweatshops violates these basic rights of individuals to be paid fairly, receive working breaks, and be able to feel safe in the workplace. Another ethical principle that is violated is the stakeholder theory. According to this theory, H&M must treat all of its constituents, not just the shareholders and the customers, with respect and equity. The neglect of the workers in these hazardous factories is a huge issue that H&M must address to improve its moral ethics. A part of the solution to combat fast fashion is already being enacted in the changing practices of H&M's production. For example, H&M became the first retailer to sell a dress made from circulose, which is a fabric that's 100% recycled cotton and a sustainably sourced pulp. Additionally, they launched a new in-store recycling system called Loop, which allows customers to bring in their old garments and see them transformed into something new. H&M's new Conscious collection is also currently made from at least 50% sustainability sourced materials, such as organic cotton and recycled polyester. This is significant compared to many materials, such as cotton, which can only make up to 20% of a product sustainably sourced material due to the quality restraints. H&M even topped the Fashion Revolution's Transparency Index, which ranked the 250 biggest fashion apparel brands and retailers based on the amount of information they disclose about their suppliers, supply chain policies, and social and environmental impacts. Although all of these actions made by H&M are steps toward a sustainable future, they must also be active in the reduction of clothes to combat overconsumption and find a way to make Loop a successful system. Currently, there is not as much progress in the results as the company boasts about in its new Sustainable Practices Forum, but to help Loop become a more successful practice, I propose that H&M could create a program that accepts unwanted, unfashionable, or old clothing so that it can prevent more waste and reinvest the materials back into future clothing production. If reusing materials is the future of the clothing industry, then this program would save them money and help the economy at the same time. In order to ensure that they can reach the goal of zero net carbon emissions and that they can improve their ethics regarding the principle of intergenerational justice, H&M has to step up and take a charge in the fashion industry. They are among the leaders in the multinational retail side of fashion, so any efforts that they make will influence how similar businesses alter their practices. H&M has also begun to improve their outsourcing production in its poorer countries, whose factories and workers lack many essential conditions for adequate working environments. The biggest problem with the sweatshops is the number of violations it has to basic human rights and labor laws, including worker safety. In order to solve many of these issues, H&M has begun initiatives with numerous organizations that target improving sweatshops in poorer countries. Although they have taken a step in the right direction, the company has made little progress and has very little evidence to prove that their actions were at all successful. One solution to this problem that I propose is starting a give back program, such as the ones that Tom's Footwear Company runs, that would give back some type of resource to the community or the factories in which they exist in. This could include actual merchandise that H&M produces, such as footwear or clothing, or it could even be a supply of fruits and vegetables, which is something that these communities may lack or have inadequate access to. Not only would this look good for the company's social presence, but it would take actual steps in a positive direction that could help alleviate some of the struggles in these developing communities. This would help H&M to move past accusations of greenwashing and prove that they are making real changes in the treatment of their workers. Although this does seem like an expensive thing to do, other companies such as Tom's have proven that it is attainable and it can be a successful business plan, which can actually lead to more customer attraction for the business's future. Like stated before, if sustainable practices and outreach into the communities is the clothing retailer's future, then it is going to be very important for H&M to invest as much as they can, as quickly as they can, into these types of practices in order to be a leader in the industry and really capture customers' attention before other competitors do so. This will also benefit the community that these factories are in, not only because the workers themselves will be benefiting from them, but the community, being a stakeholder in itself, will benefit from these new introduced, whether it be clothing, shoes, food, whatever they're giving back. And it'll look good for the company, like we said, besides greenwashing. In addition to this program, I think H&M must continue to partner with organizations that improve the quality of their factories. They must make changes in not only the environment the workers work in, but also their day-to-day treatment, including preventing abuse at the workplace in long days where they are earning very little money. Although they cannot control the pay, because there are no ethical standards that guarantee equitable pay across countries, H&M can do other things that work towards the improvement of their employees abroad. These actions will help to emphasize fair treatment of workers that consider them as ends and not only as tools in the production of the goods. Overall, I think that H&M has a very good starting point to which they're approaching the issues that they need to address and their ethical problems that they are currently facing. Although there isn't as much progress as I think the company would like to see from their current programs that they have running, I think the new ones that I have addressed and suggested, such as the buy one product and donate something to the community, and the totally sustainable practices of producing clothing, including eventually reaching zero net carbon goal, will help to emphasize the company's plan to help create a sustainable future for everyone else, and it will get other companies to follow suit. If this is possible, then H&M has really no bounds to what they can do, and they will solve their ethical problems successfully. Thank you for listening, and my works cited is on the next two slides that I will show.